Okay, I'm a little embarrassed because my air fryer is filthy. But to be fair, I've had it for almost 3 years and it's not as bad as it could be. That being said, I've noticed in all my air fryer videos, whenever I pull the basket out, the back of my air fryer looks disgusting. So let's give it a deep clean. There are a couple key components to cleaning an air fryer. So first, obviously, is the outside, and that can just be done with a soft microfiber cloth. You can use a paper towel, even a Lysol wipe to just get like crumbs and grease off of it. Second is the basket part. So the basket can get kind of grimy. You can see it just kind of, accumulates some grime. But this is really easy to clean. So we'll start with that first, and then we will do the inside. It's actually really not that bad for being used for like 3 years. So let's start with this. It's gonna be a dirty job. So I'm going to put on gloves and my apron because I don't want grease everywhere. Okay, one thing to know about the air fryer basket is that some air fryers will advertise as being dishwasher safe. So here's what I recommend. This grate part that comes out, it's like the trivet, this I put in my dishwasher all the time. This is really easy to clean, or you can just wash it with a little scrubby sponge, that's fine. However, this basket part, I don't recommend that you dishwash. One, because if any of the plastic parts melt or disfigure, it can compromise the quality and the functionality of your air fryer. You don't want anything to melt. Second, do you see all these little grooves, little openings in here? All these pieces have little gaps in them. You don't want to stress the integrity of this basket and the plastic parts by introducing bacteria and dishwater water into those grooves. That's the same reason why I do not ever put my Instant Pot lid in the dishwasher, because I don't want it to get gunked up with dirty water. So I do not recommend you ever put this in the dishwasher, even if it's advertised as such, because it will decrease the lifespan of your air fryer basket. And if you don't have the basket, you really can't use your air fryer. So let's start with this first. The first thing is the grate. So the grate is really easy. All you need to do is just wash this with a sponge and some water. I don't usually clean my air fryer like every single time I use it, unless there's something that's really wet or really greasy. I usually just stick this straight into the dishwasher, or I will just give it a quick rinse like that with some soap and water. Next is this dirty basket. So the inside, you just want to get rid of any debris, and if there's a lot of grease caked in there, like bacon grease, I will scrape it out using a rubber spatula. Right now there's just like a couple green beans and some crumbs, so we'll just take those out. And then I just wash this with soap and water, or my favorite, Dawn Power Wash. The biggest thing to know is that I try really hard not to put any water in here, because I don't want water in the crevices getting all junked up in there and debris stuck. So the inside's pretty clean now. Now we will do the sides and the back. So with this, the grease is much more caked on this side. So what I'm going to do is just take a scrubby, it's not super abrasive or anything, and just try and take off any big chunks. You can see it's already getting a bunch. I'm not using a ton of water because I don't want it to getting lodged in here. Okay, now I'm going to use the Dawn Power Wash, because this stuff is amazing at cutting grease, and just spray it everywhere. And then I'm going to just let this sit in the sink for a couple minutes to really soak in. This has been sitting for just a couple of minutes, and the cool thing about the power wash is that it really just like cuts through the grease, just using a paper towel. And honestly, they say that you can just like rinse it off. But I kind of wanted to get in here and make sure that these bigger grease spots were taken care of. I'm just gonna put this on really warm water and just rinse them right off. All right, that looks brand new. It looks awesome. So the last thing I'm gonna do is just run some really hot water and just give this whole thing a really hot rinse. And I will even do it in here just so, you know, now there's not really a huge risk of getting like super dirty water in there. We're just gonna flush out anything. I realized that it might sound a little confusing because I said try not to get water in this little groove area on the handle of the basket, but then I just like rinsed it out with hot water. So what I didn't want to do was wash it and get all that greasy, sudsy stuff inside of here, because then it just like adds more grease, more like junk. So that's why I just did a really like hot water rinse in here, because I didn't want to get like extra stuff in there, like all the dirty sink water. So this is clean. I'm just like shaking it out here. I want to make sure this is dry, so I'm just going to put it on a towel, just kind of let it drip dry, especially these little grooves. I don't want anything getting in there and like growing mold, mildew, anything like that. Okay, now we're to the fun part. This inside part that has not been cleaned in ever. But I have had this for several years, so I am going to flip it upside down. And the first thing I'm going to do is just take a paper towel and scrape off anything that will come off. What I don't want to do is get soap or anything to damage the heating element. So I'm going to deep clean this heating element part a little bit later, but even just wiping it off. Look at that. Okay, next I'm going to put some Dawn Power Wash on my damp paper towel, or you could use a dry one. I don't really want to spray directly in there. I'll just use that to kind of start wiping away. Wow, that's already doing so much. Okay. Maybe what I'll do is put it back like this and just spray the bottom. I'm just gonna spray the bottom like that and let it hang out for a couple minutes. Meanwhile, this whole front panel area has a little bit of grease on it, so I'm just going to use some power wash and use a microfiber cloth and give it a shine. Sparkling. You can do that with the top as well and the sides. Bottom part is ready to be cleaned. I'm gonna slide this back on. Also, these pink kitchen gloves I got on Amazon, and they're awesome. I use them all the time. On this bottom part, since I know that there is a lot of gunk, I'm going to use a little scrubby so I can get kind of the majority of it off first. Then I'm just gonna take some of those paper towels and get some of this out of here before I take a cleaner sponge and sop it up. So here's a clean sponge. I'm just going to kind of soften this up. And then last, I'll just take the microfiber and dry it out. Well, that is much cleaner. Let's see if we can get a little bit more work here on the back. Our air fryer is sparkling now, and it really wasn't too bad. One more thing I wanted to say is if you wanted to clean the inside, like the inner workings of this air fryer, I would recommend just putting a couple cups of water in your air fryer basket, either some lemon slices or a couple drops of dish soap or some vinegar, and then just running it for about 10 minutes, and that will get rid of a lot of smells, or especially like in a new unit, it will get rid of like some oils and kind of that new package factory smell. So definitely do that. And if you like this video, make sure that you watch this video. It's the top 5 air fryer accessories I recommend and the ones to avoid. I also have an air fryer playlist over here of all these air fryer recipes that are awesome. So make sure you check that out as well, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, bye.